Hey guys, Violet 4K, aka Tim, bringing another video. Today I wanted to get back into the topic of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now these are going to be more based on the topics of what maps I think could be brought back to Modern Warfare, or also new maps that could be brought back. Now let's start with new maps, because I think this is something that can be important. For example, I think if they bring back maps that are more 3-lane maps that have a little better flow to them than what they currently have, I think that'd be very helpful. I think that the current maps are too big, too many safe spaces. As you probably have heard a lot of people saying how they hate the safe spaces in it, because the devs actually openly admitted that the map's design was created for new players to be able to allow them to get more kills on more experienced players. I believe they said pompous or something like that. I don't know what they said exactly, but I remember it being very questionable in my opinion. I think the maps currently have too much verticality. I don't like the doors. I wish they would get rid of the doors. And that's not the biggest problem in my opinion. I think the bigger problem is the spawns, but that's a topic for another video. I think that they are very poorly made in terms of how the maps are designed. Now, don't get me wrong, there are maps that I really like on Modern Warfare. I really like Gunrunner, I really like Hackney Yard, I really like Ramaza. Those are the three main ones I can think of off the top of my head that I love. Now, I wish they would bring back similar maps to those, or bring maps that would play kind of like those do. But they brought Atlas and it was okay, but I think a lot of the maps they brought back from older CODs are misses in my opinion. They don't play well for Modern Warfare. Crash doesn't play well. The spawn traps are too terrible. The spawns don't flip enough. And then also Vacant is hit or miss. I mean, sometimes it's fun, but for the most part it can be hit or miss. So I think that's something that they need to take into consideration when they actually create the maps, is have something that's a little more fun and viable and can have the flow feel better and a little better for everyone. Now, Shoot House was a 3-lane map, and I think Shoot House spawns are pretty terrible, and it kind of messes with the flow of the game as well. So that's just my opinion. It's an alright map. It's just I would like to see more medium-sized maps be brought back originally. I think if they worked on that 3-lane with medium size, I think the maps would flow better and play better. Now, if we go back to older Call of Duties, I'd like to see a lot of MW3 maps get brought back, actually. I think MW3 had the most overall balanced, well-balanced maps. I think they were the most fun to play. Of any Call of Duty, they had the most fun. There's only one map that I didn't like, and that was Downturn. I know I've said this before, but I think if you bring back maps similar to that, some of the ones I'd like to see is Hard Hat. I think Hard Hat would be a ton of fun to play on Modern Warfare. I think it would actually flow pretty decently on Modern Warfare, and I think it would be fun. Now, another one that I'm like kind of hesitant to say is Lockdown. I think if they manage to not add doors, the hallway aspect and the other area where they camp up in the doors across from hallway, I think if they were able to make sure there's no doors added, that people can't just camp there with claymores and sit on head glitches, like you made it to where you can kill those people a little easier, I think that Lockdown would be a good map to play. Also, I'd like to see Seatown. Seatown for, actually, matter of fact here, I actually got my first ever double Moab on Seatown. I think the flow on Seatown was one of the best. It was a lot of fun to always play. Also, Village. I know they found the Village game files in the Modern Warfare PC version, so I'd like to see that get brought back. I think that would flow pretty well and play decently on Modern Warfare. And then also, I'd really like to see Mission. Now, Mission is awesome. Mission was fun. It's a little questionable, though, because of the verticality. I think that's one thing I don't like very much, is the verticality of the maps on Modern Warfare. So bring back maps that don't have a ton of verticality that would play pretty well. And then also the last one I'd like to say is Resistance. I loved Resistance. It was probably my favorite map on Modern Warfare 3. I think it was fun. It was my first ever Moab was on that map. It just always had a good flow. I think that they just kept doors off of it, and you were able to pick people off as they try to get to that middle, because that's what a lot of people would do, is try to get to the middle. As long as you can not have doors where you can pick them off as they're going in and out of the middle, I think that would make the map just flow pretty well. I think the game would play pretty well with those maps. Now, there's even some Ghost maps that I would like to see brought back. I know a lot of people may not agree with me on this, because Ghost wasn't a very well received game. I think it was more received than Modern Warfare, but it goes down to being some of the worst maps ever made because they're so big. But some of the maps I'd like to see brought back would be Octane. I think Octane played pretty well. Had that broken down gas station. I think if they kept doors off it like they did with other maps, I think it'd be fine. But Lockdown or Octane, I'd like to see. Prison Break is another one I'd like to see. I liked Prison Break. If they could just block off the guard tower, I think it would play better. I think the guard tower would add a little more frustration, because people can camp in there with the claymores and doors and sit up top. I think if they block that off and force people to play more on the actual ground and kept away verticality, it would play pretty well. And then another one I like to talk about is Fog. Now this was a DLC map for Ghost, and this map actually was pretty fun. That was the one where if you got the special, what was it, package or a care package, where you can get and be Jason from Friday the 13th. That was pretty cool, you know. I think that was one thing Ghost didn't get a lot of credit from, is that if you had those little challenges, you got that briefcase and you did those challenges, you got a reward for it. I actually think that'd be pretty cool to be brought back to Call of Duty in general, but that was a map I thought played the best of all the DLC. I think Ghost actually had decent DLC. I think Modern Warfare also had decent DLC maps. It played pretty well. Some of them were kind of trash, but for the most part, I think MW3 and Ghost had decent DLC maps from what I could remember. Now, MW3, again, best maps out there. Now, this is something I'd like the devs to just take consideration. Not add safe spaces and bring back these tiny maps. Shipment and Rust, we don't need any more maps like that. It's a brainless game mode to play when you're just playing on Shipment and Rust. It's just not fun. It's just, you're boring. It's boring. You're spawning and you're dying instantly. I don't see how people really enjoy that. I guess if you're just spraying as soon as you get in and that's fun to you, that's what you like. So I think that I would like to stay away from those type of maps. I think there's enough small maps and there's enough big maps with a lot of camping spots. I'd like to see them bring back more medium-sized maps. I think that's what the game needs to flow better. Now, hopefully you guys enjoyed the gameplay in the background. I went 61-7 on Shoot House. It was actually a pretty insane game. It was, I was just going off. I kept running into like a whole group, but they were pretty bad, as you can tell. And I got pretty lucky a lot of the time, so I was able to get my streaks too. Now, the game is, on Shoot House, it's hit or miss. It really is. I know a lot of people enjoy the map, but it can be either fun or absolutely terrible to play. A lot of people camp top wood with shotguns. The other day I had someone running point men and kill streaks, or kill chain on it, camping with a 7.25 up top, getting AC 130s. I mean, it's just, I don't know how people enjoy playing that way. So hopefully you guys enjoy the gameplay in the background. If you do like it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Have a good one, guys. Bye. Look at this. This is... And then I killed all the other dude over there too.